Okay, so here is the wall. You just saw it laid out. This is the thermal bridge to nowhere. 16 on center, double king studs. That's what the engineer specced. Then we have double studs laminated together for every panel edge. That includes cripple studs, right? So every 4 feet, and that's for all the panels. Then we have to make sure that we have backing for the hold downs. Double sill with double blocks above and below because of the force transfer around opening. This thing is 30 by 30, 15'6" wall. The rest of them are 9 feet tall. And then we have the wraparound porch. So, not impressed with this engineer. There were a number of discrepancies on the plans, or the architect, quite frankly. Was able to get clarification at the beginning, and then engineer just stopped responding to me. Details like gluing the wall sheathing, gluing the roof sheathing. And I think he just got kind of sick of answering my questions. Tried not to inundate him, I just wanted to do it right. But anyway, this is what the wall looks like up. And then we framed the shed roof back to the girder truss, and the rest of it trussed. Hey, welcome back to the channel, everybody. In this video, we're going to lay out the front wall, and I'm going to do a whole lot of complaining because this front wall this whole house, it's 30 by 30, it's a box. It has become way more difficult than it needed to be, in part because the architect did a terrible job detailing the plans, and the engineer did a terrible job on his side too. At first, he was very responsive to me and then just stopped emailing me because I had so many questions. Some of that could be me and I'm just kind of annoying. Not really. So anyway, let's get into the layout. All right, there's a stud right there, or a joist. Hey, look at that. And there is pro tip number 1. I was taught this many years ago. Usually I would use a seam on the subfloor, but in this case, I knew exactly where the joist was. I didn't need to pull a measurement. We already did that when we did the layout. So we don't need to duplicate our efforts too much. Okay, let me just verify that didn't move. Where do you guys want to leave the scrap pile? Same spot?
I guess we were pulling over there, yeah, but...
Yeah, I think that makes sense. All right, that is right on the black line. All right, Brandon, this guy would be, that's right at 5.5. Let's go 125, 14. 2 of those. And then I will do this off the drawing. So 3 foot 8.5 to the inside of the window. Hey, top of the morning to you, everybody. So it is going to be sunny. We've got just heavy moisture in the air, not rain, but it's getting everything wet. This one, we're not taping the seams. I haven't been able to talk to the engineer or the inspector. I'm going to try that later today. Basically, every one of these walls has force transfer around openings. So in this case, Kyle is installing, what is that, the CS16? CS14. CS14. And the engineer specs how far past the windows he wants, so we've got blocking behind that. We have a double sill, and then we're putting the strap on the lower sill, and that way we can still fasten our window. And then same thing up above. There is a sill on that window, but then we just go blocking 4x8. Kyle's just making it look super easy.
What I do.
I like all the bright colors. Okay, and you're probably wondering why are we doing the foam here as opposed to under here. Well, we got vented crawl space. There's really no point in doing it here, especially with treated. And then this will all be under porch roof, so it's never going to get wet. It'll never rot. This is just one detail. Once the wall goes up on it, the weight pushes down, and then we'll seal on the inside all the way through, and that'll just provide some basic air sealing at the bottom. Okay, so we have spent the last 1.5 years basically powering the tools in our van off of battery units. The reason why we went with that at first was an experiment, but the experiment proved so successful that it had a major benefit. Here's what that benefit is. We recently framed a house, we're just getting ready to start siding it, that we had no power at all for 3 months. Because of battery units, we were able to keep our batteries charged for all of our tools, and we just rolled through it. Like, it did not hold us up at all. With 2 battery units, then we can actually power the compressors as well. And what we find is we just charge them at night back here at the shop. So about 3 years ago, 2021, I reviewed version 1 of the Jackery. This is version 2 of the Jackery Explorer 2000. And so this was basically just a test. Let's just see how much I can get. I'm outputting right now about 1800 watts, and it is draining fairly quickly. But we find that we don't go through so many batteries that that's an issue. Then we just charge it at night. If I am being 100% honest, I also use this thing camping. It powers our devices. I can plug in my wife's heated blanket to it because, you know, it doesn't matter what time of year, she's always cold. So we need the heated blanket. So here is a business tip for you. This one is free of charge. This is doing double duty. So the company buys this unit and then I just use it for extracurricular activities. Now it's super portable. I mean, this thing is like, it's small, it's lightweight. I can actually use this plugged into the wall. I can plug in my computer and it has UPS technology. So when the power goes out, I can keep working. Because let me tell you something, I never get to stop making videos for Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and all that good stuff. That's just life. And the power is going to go out at the, in fact, I actually fried my computer this year because I had it plugged in and got a power surge. Shame on me. Just barely flickered and that was it. Killed it. So that was expensive. I can also use this unit to power my refrigerator, my microwave. So for us, this unit has become a short-term solution. This provides the short-term power supply needs for me, and I can recharge it by solar. So it's not as though I'm just 100% dependent on being able to plug it into a wall. Okay, and because I can't memorize the stats and figures, by the way, it is hooked up to my app, so I can actually check what the output is while I'm sitting there, you know, watching TV. Anybody still do that? 2042 watt hour capacity, 2200 watt output power, and right now I'm at 1574 outputting to charge all those batteries. That should be less as each battery finishes charging. 2 hour solar charging speed, that's the fastest in the industry. 20 millisecond UPS switching, uninterrupted power for your computer. One of the cool things is that when this is plugged into the wall charging, you barely hear it. So it's not like it's an annoyance just to have it charging off a wall outlet in your house. The Jackery 2000 version 2 is different than version 1. It's a little bit smaller and lighter. Also, its lithium iron phosphate batteries mean much longer lifespan to the battery. Just to get it out of the way, yes, I am partnering with Jackery for this video, actually a series of videos, and I've got another product of theirs that we're going to put through its paces. I've been writing for trade magazines since 2003. Basically what that means is I've been a tool reviewer since 2003. That's why you generally will see kind of the coolest and latest stuff on our page. And what's really cool about that for us is that this is an opportunity for us to try something, report the good, the bad, and the ugly, and that way you have an option when it comes to, is this something you want to do? So this little Jackery Explorer 2000 is a pretty slick system. I have 3 AC outputs, I have DC, so as a content creator, we all have devices, we might use tablets on site. By keeping this in the van and out of the sun or the weather, I can charge my tablet or my phone, I can charge my drone batteries off of it and controller, and I can charge all of my cameras that I use to make content creation. So this for us is kind of a no-brainer, especially because Jackery often has sales and you can get these things at a really good price. This keeps us autonomous on the job site where we can roll in and set up a foundation or even frame without power. Well, a lot of you do that, but guess what? We got no stink of gas and we don't have some giant generator that we're loading in here. Instead, even our weakest person can lift this thing in. It's 2 people for our generator. So anyway, let's get back to the video. All right, everybody. So here we are in SketchUp and hit the orbit button or the pan button. The wall is 30 foot left to right. It's 15 foot 6 tall. Of course, nowhere on the plans, the section drawings, or anything did it give me a wall height. Well, off the top of this wall, we're going to end up with rafters that go up to a girder truss. So kind of nice to get that measurement. Anyway, emailed and got the measurement. This was a lot easier to just draw here on SketchUp. So let me just pan over. You notice if I zoom in here on the window, we have double king studs and jack studs. That's what the engineer specified. So I have to start with my measurement to the window. I also need to center the door. So let me just kind of pan over here. Things were symmetrical, so I could work from right to left, left to right, center the door. None of that's too complicated. What is a little bit more complicated is that this upper window starts so that this line is symmetrical. Even though there's going to be a porch roof here, that's what the plan shows. Also, I have a window centered over the door. The door rough opening is 3'2". The window itself, the rough opening is 3 foot. Then I need to put this window in, and I just made these equal distances. These king stud trimmers or jacks land on the header. Same with these. So because of the way we lay out windows, that's going to show up on the bottom plate as well as the top plate. This is its own entity here at the 11'8". That goes all the way up to this upper window, and you get the point from there. And that is 3'8.5", so that'd be 3'7", 5.5, and 4. So we're gonna go king, king, jack. And that's a 6 foot window. Let's just mark these out. 11'8" outside to the trimmer for up above. So incidentally, a king stud is a stud that goes full height plate to plate, and the jack or trimmer stud goes from the plate to the underside of the header. Okay. 13'5" outside to the inside trimmer of the door.
Yeah, we're gonna need more now.
Okay. So are we gonna even have enough for that wall?
Yeah, I have enough for this.
Okay. Because every wall after that's essentially going to be, I think so. Okay. So 6060. So 2 kings, 1 jack. King, 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 jack or trimmer stud. The other side is 1 trimmer, 2 kings. You might be wondering to yourself, why do we have 2 king studs?
1 trimmer.
It's a 15'6" tall wall, and so likely the engineer did this to stiffen the wall up. I'm a little surprised because it does have a front porch that's going to be fully soffitted and roofed, so that's going to provide the stiffness. Clear story are 3020s. Okay, so 3020. The way I always lay out windows is that inside edge, that's the opening, that's the inside edge of the jack or trimmer. I'm going to butt my tape to that. So it's a 3 foot window. I'm going to butt it there, and I'm going to measure 3 foot and mark that. Yeah, you can just butt those. Thank you, Brandon. This is rather annoying, quite frankly. So that's Kingsted trimmer for that guy. So that is the door. So 8'8" is the upper trimmer. 8'8" outside to the trimmer. Outside to the trimmer. I think it's pretty obvious at this point why I'm a little annoyed. I had to spend way too much time drawing this out in Sketchup, print it out, and then sit here and go back and forth. Now, like I said, this is a complaint fest. Is it really that big of a deal in the scheme of things? No, it's just, I was trying to keep the guys busy, and I knew that this would become relatively hard to understand later. So I was multitasking poorly, and that's why I'm complaining a lot, because I can do that. That doesn't make sense. So then the 11'8". Highly confusing. So that's the Kingsted trimmer for this guy. But that doesn't, okay. Well, how does that not make sense? That's 3 foot difference. That's the trimmer, and that's the trimmer.
Stop on this.
Oh, sure. Thank you, Kyle. Okay. So 11'8" is to the trimmer. King stud going that way. And then I went the wrong way. That's what happened there. Okay. So we're gonna go back. Okay, if you don't mind, I don't know. This might get still confusing. Okay, so then 3020 to here. I mean, if we're being honest, the only reason it's confusing is because this guy's kind of an idiot. Okay. Yeah, this is going to get so confusing for you guys. I feel bad. Because it's a little punk city. No problem. And so she misunderstood me. I said, we've been building in these developments since the 80s or 90s. So, we could drive you around to houses and here's LP from way back. She misunderstood and said, so you want LP to sponsor like a whole development? That'd be cool. And I was like, well, now that you say that, we've got fireweed, but I said that could be a 2026 thing. I think they want to sponsor all 20 of those. Right? And so I talked to Brian and Brian's like, no, I think we'll start building there next year. Okay, let me blitz this and then I think I'll do the hold downs last. So 3/8. No, it's fine. I know it's a little tough with the. I can do it with that. I'll give you some more room. Yeah, these I have not been impressed with the factory ends on any of this lumber. Yeah, I'm gonna tell Paul. It is what it is. We're just gonna keep fighting everything. It's not that bad. It feels worse than at other years though. So 3/8.5, 3/8, half, 8. That's K, Jack. So that's that guy. I'll just do this one from here. We'll go 6 foot window. Can you tell that I'm going a little faster this time? Isn't that how it always goes? Left side of the house, I was really struggling just keeping the stuff straight and answering questions. And I feel like I used to be able to do that stuff a lot better. The right hand side of the house, now I felt more comfortable. So 6060. Okay, 11'8" outside to the upper. $11'8". Okay. Something I neglected to say earlier in the video is my approach to layout is
13'5".
Get your plates cut to the correct length, make sure that the split lands over a stud. We're trying to make sure studs, trusses, joists all stack in lines as best we can. In this case, it won't be that great because it's 16 on center and our roof is going to be 24. That's okay. Double top plates. I digress. Then I like to lay out all my windows and door openings first because sometimes stud layout can land real close to those and then you're scribbling things out. So windows and doors first. In this case, it's going to be the double studs or 3x at panel edges, and then 16 studs last. Whatever. Okay, so then up above, I have 8'8" to the trimmer. 8'8" to the trimmer. 8'8" outside to it, so king stud, jack back. So king, jack, jack. And this should be close enough. Okay, so 302 above. All right, get these guys. Hey Brandon, could you snag me one of those hold downs? I just saw one. Yeah. And then this guy would be a 3020. I'll just use it to lay out what goes where. 3020. And then I gotta double check. So this is gonna be funky because some of these upper windows land on top of the lower window. And then, yeah, so I had to lay it out. And then this guy will have to pack inside because our door opening's 3'2", that's 3 foot, but it needs the center. So I'll have to pack out with 1 inch stuff. So I'll try to track down some LP trim. And then I think I gotta look at the structural because, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the upper only. And that guy is just king stud trimmer.
Put it in the front here?
Up your butt and around the corner.
Oh.
Yeah, sick burn.
Should I put it in the front like where the scrap was? Or up the hill, I don't know, whatever you think is better.
I don't know. I had to drive these things around on this side.
Yeah.
Probably in the front.
I think right there.
Well, and it might be temporary, Kyle, where once that wall's up, you might be able to sneak it. So I was going to recommend, I think that wall could get pulled to the line, but not that wall. This wall here, like once we move these plates, you could drag this way a little bit, and if you wanted to pull that to the line, you could. Get it all nailed down nice and tight. When this wall gets built, it just gets put on the bank, because then this wall is going to go up. We'll probably fasten it and throw a couple braces and then drop this guy and tie them all together. It's nice to do it when we're there. I think we'll be fine. But yeah, we'll kind of play that part by ear. Okay, so that's the 6.0. This is a window there. And this is a window here. So now, okay, so now we have, that's really interesting. So 2 kings, 1 jack, 2 kings, 1 jack, 2 kings, 1 jack, 2 kings, 1 jack. Same over there. And then we have hold downs 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll start here. So to the center of the bolt is 5.5. Well, that's kind of nice. So then this guy's centered HDU2. One of the quickest ways to find what you're looking for on Strong Tie's website is to just do the following. Google www.strongtie.com space HDU2 or LUS26. That'll take you right to the specific page on their home site. Easy for me to say. HDU2. And then you can just sit there and scroll down. It's a much quicker way to get to what you're looking for. HDUs. So there's CL. HDU2 CL 1 5/16 is center. Okay, more like that. We could get a maximum. I think we can get 3. No, 3.5. Guys laid them out like morons. But I think we're okay with double stud.
Yeah, we just got that really long stick.
Okay. So something that I neglected to take into account at this point was I don't have to have that threaded rod straight up and down. There are allowable slopes to it. You could skew it off of plumb a certain amount. The other thing I didn't take into account at this point was that it would be a whole lot easier now to install the threaded rod and the coupler nut.
Oh, that's fast.
As it was by the time we got to it. There was a little bit of remodeling work. Nothing too major, but I could have made my own life a whole lot easier. Who else has a case of the Mondays? Because of all the blocking for the straps in the short pony wall, Timmy doesn't have access to get the threaded rod and the coupler nut in there. Not to worry, I am the world's best new construction remodeler, and I will demonstrate that to you. Just cut out a piece of the rim. Now I have room for the right angle drill. Cut that hole a little bit bigger so that you have room to move the threaded rod down from above. And as a quality framer, of course, I'm going to clean up after myself. Just don't look in the back of my work van or the cab. And because it's Monday, you know that the threads on the bolt are damaged, so I got to cut that down and cut the threaded rod to length and call your mom back. The coupler nut attaches the threaded rod to the cast in place anchor bolt, and that is what is going to hold down the hold down. I wonder if that's why they call them hold downs. This is the HDU2, just a few of the SDS screws and a lightweight impactor. We got lots of room this time, and that's it. We are ready for an earthquake or high wind event or your mom. Be that guy. And it wants to go into the door. I think we should make the door. I think let's add a king, go to the door. And I can see eyeballing, it's going to be about there. This guy looks like we could get away with one. Well, that's not too bad. Go straight down. We go up. And it would be something like that. I think we can make that work. So you notice here, I'm not being overly precise. I'm drilling a hole that's like 1 inch for 5/8 threaded rod. And I have that ability to slope. So at this point, I don't have to measure to the 16th or an 1/8, where I really do when I'm laying out windows and doors. And same thing to the center. I've got 6.5, so 6.5 to the center of the hole, and then 1.5 inches that way should be close enough. So this would go in like this. So we're gonna go 3 studs. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 studs, whatever. I can't count. And this guy was 6.5. 6.5. So we're gonna go right here. Okie doke. Was a full sheet, right? Yeah. So if I go stud, 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 stud. Okay. I'm just laying out the panel edges first. And then what I think we may want to do is count. I really don't want. So that should work. That's a 4 foot. It's going to land right on the king. But that'll nail both. Because this is going to get so confusing. There's so much layout here. So we're going to say 3 by. So we have king stud trimmers for windows and doors. Then we have hold downs. Then we want to make sure we have enough room to get our tools in place. And then this engineer wanted a stud on each side of each panel edge. Okay, so now this basically is like mass timber at this point. There's almost no room for insulation. This is drastically different than our engineer would have done things, but I'm not going to complain any more than I've already complained. Just trust your engineer. That guy's good. Oh, do the same thing. We want to leave enough room for our tools. Hey, top of the morning to you, everybody. So this is our big wall, 15'6", wraparound porch, and then a little, I think, 212 roof that comes off of that into the main ridge. Of course, most of this is trussed, but these guys have been knocking it out of the park with the framing. As you can see, there's basically nothing but wood. 16 centers, strapping. It's like 3 and 4 inch edge nailing, all that good stuff. So there's just, it's going to be like this is the house I want to be in an earthquake. Anyway, we're just gonna get this guy up. Hey, that went really well. Of course, once again, like an idiot, Not like an idiot, as an idiot. I did not hit the start button on the drone camera, so. Anyway, it's up. They're just getting that guy. We'll drop it in, tie them together, and then everything will be nice and safe. Then we'll snap interior walls and start interior walls and all of that good stuff. So there's what we're looking at. Lots of blocking for those straps. Those 2 blocks got put down too low, so they'll have to get just cut and moved up, and then that strap from the outside can be nailed off. Not like an idiot, but as an idiot. I think that should go on my tombstone, but I will never die. Okay, so typically we're gonna lift everything we can with the machine. Why not? We toe screw through the top plate with a big SDWS screw. You notice we left the sheet off. That's because the wall was tacked to the line and we couldn't put that sheet on. What I talked about with the guys is this right-hand wall, pulling it forward and then putting it off in the ditch. You'll see that in just a minute. And of course, here is the drone footage of the 15'6" tall wall with all the blocking for the strapping, the double sills, all that good stuff. There's the wall in the background. And we're putting the sill seal down because it's vented crawl space. That with sealant on the inside was going to be how is one of our approaches to air sealing on this house. So thank you very much for following along, everybody. I certainly appreciate it. We got lots more to go on this project. As of today, we are just going to start siding. So we can look forward to that in the future. Thanks for following. Hit that like and subscribe button and share this with 2,000 people in your contact list.